welcome to this week's QPR Preview Show ahead of a bottom three battle as we preview a trip to recently much improved Sheffield Wednesday. It was 4 points and 2 clean sheets this week for QPR. We couldn't quite escape the bottom three, but it was still a positive week as a whole. I think we'd all have to say we'd have all probably taken 4 points before it began. Club is still moving in the right direction from where we were. It's just that in isolation, that Plymouth match feels a bit frustrating and perhaps a missed opportunity playing against 10 men for so long, Dave.
Yeah, and with all the other results as well, that we could have moved up a few places. I think bit of a missed opportunity, but looking at the bigger picture, it's, 4 points in them 2 games wasn't too bad. They always do it the hard way, don't they? They beat the team up the top and drew the one down the bottom. But it was a fair result overall. We didn't start well against Plymouth, did we? They were well on top, and the red card changed the game that they defended a lot more. But I don't think it overly helped us, to be honest. We struggled to break them down, but I think 4 points from the 2 games is good. We were saying a few weeks ago, if we can get within 3-4 points of safety by Christmas, we've done well, and we're a point off. So it's not the end of the world, is it?
No, the platform is there still to build on. And I think Plymouth deserved a draw from the game because we started the game so sloppy. Like you said, they should have been ahead, probably 2 up, maybe even by the time the red card came. That red card let us off the hook. We dominated the ball, didn't we, thereafter? But their keeper only had routine saves to make. I'd be surprised if Plymouth themselves are involved at the bottom this season. They looked quite a good attacking side, didn't they? Did you think it was a red card?
It's hard. I've seen it on the TV. It is high, but I don't know. I thought a yellow was enough, to be honest. But it's hard to see live, isn't it? I've seen it back on TV, but I thought after that, I think the ref thought he made a mistake and then just gave them everything second half. So it was like trying to even it up, and he had to. I was worried about Field getting sent off, to be honest, because he got booked early, but at least he didn't even it up. But we just couldn't break them down. We just didn't create any real clear-cut chances, did we? The crosses were a bit hit and hope. Dykes was, too far out to get any power on headers when they did reach him. It was just a frustrating night. But another clean sheet is impressive, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the QPR, I just think some of the changes to the starting 11 didn't quite work. People are going to point at Kelman. He didn't quite impact the game as much as he probably hoped he could. But he's playing out of position, so I feel a little bit sorry for him because he's not playing where he wants to probably play. The subs didn't really work either for the first time under Sheffield Wednesday, did they? In other games, he's brought subs on and we've completely changed it. We just looked disjointed a little bit after the subs last night. And like I say, they didn't impact the game. But it has to be a good sign that we're sitting here as QPR fans a bit gutted to draw a game of football because it wasn't so long ago that we were losing 6 in a row and we would have been dreaming of an illness.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you about the subs. So, Smith probably should have been on a bit earlier, but it's hard with these 3-game weeks that you have to make changes in one of them. And I thought we really missed Clark Salter last night, but can he play 3 games of the week? Probably not. So, they probably thought this was the best one to leave him out of. It's a difficult one. The squad is still quite thin. Like I say, he's made changes recently, which has, impacted games. But, that's not going to work every week. There's just not the quality there on the bench. And I thought Larkesh going off hurt as well. I know it was a concussion, I think, wasn't it? But the team looked very disjointed after that, and I think we could still be playing now and we wouldn't have scored.
Yeah, it's hard. It is hard to break down 10 men who just sit back. So it wasn't easy for us. But like we say, the subs didn't really work. Smith and Armstrong, I agree, came on just too late. I'm sure the manager will have learned a lot from the game, which is another positive. If we just cast our minds back to the weekend for a moment against Hull, 2-0 win. They won away at Middlesbrough in response to that. They were clearly and were in the match a good team. The way they kept the ball, that was an excellent 3 points.
Yeah, it's a massive win. For me, Hull probably best side I've seen down there this season. Thought they played really well. They were a bit unlucky not to get anything out of the game, but we stayed in it. I thought we were very good defensively at the weekend. Begovic probably had his best game for us, and we did what we didn't do against Plymouth. We took our chances when they came. I mean, it took a worldie to open it up, but we created chances after that. It was a really big win. Especially to back up the last couple of wins as well. And to keep the momentum going. It was an impressive win, and like you say, Hull responded with a good win the other night, so they're no mugs.
Yeah, definitely, and it shows we can compete with the better sides in the league, and it means in this league you don't have much to fear if you can play like we can. On Saturday, then, it's a trip to Sheffield Wednesday, a big relegation clash. I guess we still have to call it. QPR not safe by any means yet. We last played Sheffield Wednesday, April 2021. That was a 4-1 win for QPR in the lockdown season. Sheffield Wednesday, like I said right at the start, much improved. They've already got as many points since the end of November as they had in the whole season up to that point. It's got them off the bottom, and this will not be as easy as it may have been 4 or 5 weeks ago.
No, they've really been similar to us. They've really picked up the last 6 weeks, and they, you know, I mean, they looked dead and buried, didn't they, at the start of November? You just couldn't see how they were going to get out of it. But they've given themselves a chance, and this is a tricky game now, especially off the back of the draw last night. You know, you think, you know, it's not an easy place to go anymore. Again, as with any away game, if we can keep the crowd quiet, try to kind of nullify them the first 20 minutes or so, just don't concede the first goal. Make sure we get that first goal. You know, we'll have a decent chance. But this is a tough game. You know, I think people will be expecting us to win, probably like they expected us to beat Plymouth last night. But it won't be easy by any stretch of the imagination.
No, they've had some good results. They drew with Leicester, so they beat Blackburn, Stoke, did lose at Norwich in midweek. But as much as it's a bottom three clash on paper, in the form chart, QPR are 7th and Wednesday are 14th. So, like you say, they have two much improved sides. And Danny Roll, I think I've got his name right, was perhaps a surprise appointment, a bit like with QPR. Everybody expected an old, experienced head to go in, didn't they? They've gone for a 34-year-old. He had no previous managerial experience himself, but he has coached at the highest level. But it is a bit like with Marty Cifuentes coming to QPR. It seems like they've made the right choice.
Yeah, it's probably a good long-term choice for them. So if they do go down, they've got someone who can build them up again. Yeah, he's made a big impact. Like I said, they've been a lot better the last few weeks. I mean, I saw them earlier in the season, and they just looked absolutely hopeless. You just couldn't see him winning a corner, let alone winning a game. But they've been very good recently. You know, that draw against Leicester kind of sparked them on. And although they lost midweek, you got to take them seriously. Then, you know, there's a lot of the season still to go. You know, although they 5-6 points adrift of safety at the minute, you know, that can go quickly with the number of games we've played, especially over Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, clubs overall just seem to have moved away, don't they, from the old school Warnock, Mick McCarthy choices this season, and it's paying dividends for the clubs. Bit of research showed that their manager has instilled a higher work rate, defending as a cohesive unit, waiting to close down the opposition in the right moments, defending narrow. It sounds a lot like QPR, so it could be an interesting matchup between two clearly very talented young managers who are both trying to overhaul the same underperforming sides. From a QPR perspective, we can now safely say that Marty Cifuentes is not afraid to make big and bold decisions as he dropped Clark Salter and Smith in midweek, changes at the weekend before that, made 3 changes at half time. It's certainly the hardest in a long time it's been to try and know what QPR lineup is coming, isn't it?
Yeah, even last night he made 3 changes at half time. I didn't think he'd make that many. It'll be interesting to see what he does. Assuming he's fit, Clark Salter will surely come back in. I think Smith will probably start as well. But I'd be interested to see what he does up front, if he sticks with Dykes again, or if maybe he gives Armstrong a start. I think maybe if they're going to, Sheffield Wednesday like the ball a lot under the new manager, so maybe we'll play on the break a bit, and Armstrong's pace could be interesting with that. And whether he'll play Willock, 3 games in a row. The other week he did leave one, and he left Willock out one game, didn't he, and Chair the next. I wonder if he'll think about doing that again and maybe changing it second half. Like you say, it's a tough team to pick, isn't it? You know, it's different from a few weeks ago when you could easily name the starting 11.
Yeah, I think the same. I think Willock could drop out and just come on as an impact sub, maybe around the 60-minute mark with Smith starting. Armstrong, I'm not sure if he's 100% fit because maybe that's why he didn't come on until like the 90th minute against Plymouth. Fatigue is usually a factor when we play Wednesday, Saturday, but he's rotated it pretty well, hasn't he, to avoid it. And we spoke about Steve Cook last week. He played both matches. Do you think we could now see Dunn and Clark Salter for this one with Cook dropping out because he seems to be rotating those to keep them all fresh?
Yeah, potentially he could. Yeah, I think Cook's done really well the last 2 games, you know. But yeah, whether he can play 3 games in a week, you just don't want to get long-term injuries, do you? That's what they've got to try and manage against, especially with the busy fixture schedule coming up. You know, they want to try and keep everyone fit. So you might be right. I think he might play Dunn. Clark Salter will surely play, but it might be Dunn alongside him.
Yeah, when I first looked at the team sheet and Clark Salter wasn't there, then you just instantly checking the bench because if he's not on the bench, you're thinking, oh God, he's going to be gone for months again. And he's been so good. We need him to be playing as he can. And it's great that he's been able to rest players in defence and still keep 3 consecutive clean sheets. The first time QPR have done that for 5 years. And Cifuentes has already kept as many clean sheets in 7 games as Gareth Ainsworth did in 28 games. if we keep up defensive numbers like that, it'll go a long way to ensuring our survival, won't it? Because we're going to be in games and competitive in games.
Yeah, for me, that's been the biggest impact he's had. We're just shoring the defence up. We were letting in 2, 3s, 4s every week. It was horrific, and giving away like loads of one-on-one chances. Seems to not getting that many chances against us. Like Plymouth did start well last night, but we managed to weather that storm a little bit. But we just look so much better defensively. You just have a bit more confidence in the team that they know what they're doing, and even with changes as well, like you said, left Clark's all right. They didn't look that vulnerable at the back last night. I thought Dunn done pretty well when he come in, and Cook missed the Preston game recently, didn't he? But we were still all right there. It's been impressive how he's got them organised and so quickly as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're right to point out, it's not so long ago we were losing 4-0 to Blackburn.
Mm.
Now we've only conceded 4 goals in his 7 games in charge. I don't know how he's been able to do it. It's amazing. I thought he's probably having the impact we thought maybe Neil Warnock would have. I'm so
Yeah.
impressed that a foreign coach has come in and had the impact at both ends of the pitch, really. I know we're still slightly struggling for goals, but we've still scored way more than we were before as well. And that's something they can keep working on. And I know, like we said, we're all disappointed that we couldn't beat 10 men, but the club is just still moving in the right direction. There's still lots of positives. We're only 1 point from safety. It could have been 9 if we hadn't beaten Stoke the other week. So we really have done a good job there. I wanted to touch on Samfield this week. This was something that my dad was getting really frustrated with when we were watching Hull on Saturday because he was sloppy as well, like you said at the start against Plymouth. Got a booking within the first minute, giving it away. And it seems like he's only got like a 45-degree field of vision at the moment. And if you give Field the ball, it's almost certainly going back the way that he was facing when you gave it to him. He's not letting it come across his body to switch the play and look for other options. And it's hindering a lot of our moves, I find. And as amazing as he is for us defensively, if we now have more progressive QPR side, the way we're playing, he's got to work on his ability on the ball, hasn't he?
I do think his place is under a bit of threat. You look at probably he was one of the best players under Ainsworth, so was Dazelle, and they've probably been the weakest too under Cifuentes. I think you're right. He's good at shielding the defence, and he's a good defensive player. But we need a bit more of that from midfield. And I think the last 2 games definitely he's been a bit too safety first with his passes, and we end up going nowhere. And against 10 men, you've got to move the ball quickly, and we were a bit slow with it with fielding there last night. I do think that'll be something that they're looking at. That maybe there'll be a replacement coming. Probably not short term, but maybe the end of the season. But it is a bit of a surprise that he's probably gone from our best player to, I don't know if he should be playing now quite quickly, but that's been the impact that they've had with the complete change of style, that other players are more important now.
Yeah, I don't expect anyone to go back and watch the match, but literally every time he was getting the ball from, let's say, Cannon or Kakai, he was giving it straight back to them, and then they have to go back to Cook. Whereas if he let it come across his body, he could have switched it right to the other side. And like I say, it's something that he definitely needs to work on. And he was withdrawn at half time, which we would never expect to see with Samfield, do we? Elsewhere, we've said it, we expect a few changes. Willock maybe coming out. Morgan Fox, Albert Adoma, they're close to comebacks. But even once they're fit, they're not going to be easy to get into the team now, are they? Because if you think of someone like Morgan Fox, we're basically a different club from when he got injured.
Yeah, I don't see how he gets in really, unless there's injuries again. I can't see him switching to a back 3 really. The way it's gone, the way he seems to want the wide players and the extra men in midfield. So I think he might struggle to get in. But there's a lot of games coming up. They've got a busy Christmas period. They've got the cup game coming up. So I imagine he'll get in at some point. Adoma, I think now he's just he's just going to be on the bench really, and he wasn't really playing much under Ainsworth either. But it'll be good to have him back though. He is someone that when he's on his game, he has a bit of quality with his balls into the box and his delivery. So kind of could have done with that last night, where we got in some good areas, didn't we? The last 20 minutes, and just done nothing with it. Hopefully he'll be back soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll get an opportunity because he does seem keen, the manager, to be giving everyone their moment to impress him. Prediction time: will QPR return from Hillsborough with points in the bag? Do you think?
Yeah, I think it might be another draw. I think it could be. I mean, this will be a tight one, and that's not an end of the world result. I mean, I say it's another opportunity to get out the bottom 3 at the weekend and start climbing the table. But I think it'll be a draw. I think it's a must win for Sheffield Wednesday, really, isn't it? They want to try and bring us towards them a bit. But I think it'll be a draw.
Yeah, for them, it probably does fall under must win. They can't give another team around them 3 points. For QPR, it probably just falls under the try not to lose it category, doesn't it? A draw would be a good result if we can get 3. fantastic. And we only lost 1 of 7 games under Cifuentes. At the very least, we should be looking for a draw here, hopefully, for the way we're playing. I remember QPR do have some tough fixtures on paper to come. Our slightly easier run that we were all looking forward to kind of ends with this game. We'll be back next week with a Christmas special. We'll be looking ahead to all the Christmas matches and looking back at some of the highs and many, many lows of 2023. Join us for that. Thank you for watching, and come on, you arse.
We know who we are. You know who we are. We are QPR.